Okay, and so I know I was cut off again, but my whole point, and I know I went around the bridge to say it, is that the young man had a brother, and he was, I think that was Dwayne. Dwayne was a minor at the time of the crime, and he hit a white woman. And although it is gruesome in my spirit because he raped her, she was an old white woman, and they broke into her home. And supposedly, because with all the stuff the government does and all the lies that they put out, it makes it hard for law-abiding citizens to really back them when they are right. You know, it was a disgusting act if it happened. But apparently they went into the home to burglarize it and got caught. Now, again, with the court being so full, and especially San Antonio court, we talk about San Antonio courts, they're full of Mexicanos. And as we were discussing, they make sure, especially African Americans, take their part of whatever charges they already have in their head, you know, and when they don't fully get their charges, they'll throw it back on one of their family members or someone close to them around them. But this particular person, he did rape a white woman, and he is yet behind bars. He's still there from when he was. We were kids when he went to jail. We were youth. He was a youth when he went to jail, and he's still there, and to this day. And I'm 43 years old. So what is that? That's 2 years life? Because I think one. What is life? I think life it says every 20 years. So it's probably 1 year. I don't know, but I don't know if that's how the judicial system works. But I know San Antonio. San Antonio is very racist against blacks, African Americans, especially when it comes to Mexicans. Mexicans, because they're so, what you call it, not contaminated, populated down at the borders. And I see California, but Californians are moving back. We have so many openings for them to come through, and it's also part of government. I've always said that, you know. And then in this race war we have today, and Mexicans and Caucasians always tend to come together, although Mexican will tell you that Caucasian likes blacks a little bit more. But we really don't care because we're not dependent upon Caucasian. It's how we love one another. Because me personally, I don't have that type of sight that y'all have. Y'all see Caucasians. I don't see Caucasian. But it's not my desire to hit them because it's something I wasn't there. My heart is full of what it is now. I'm not a history person. I hated history in school. I've always wondered, why did they have history class? That was the most boring. It was so boring. It was boring. I hated history. Yet one year I had a history teacher called Mr. Ketchum. Mr. Ketchum didn't even know. Mr. Ketchum, you're just sitting here. Yeah, how much of history really stays in our heart and mind? I guess let us know where we come from. I don't know. I just don't think they're doing it the right way because I don't want to focus on slavery anymore. I don't want to focus on that. You know, I've always hated watching slave movies because it's like it's so derogatory and it keeps us held back. It's like it always makes us feel like we're the less of all the tribes out there. We're the less. We're the least still. You know, and even society look at us as being helpless. Oh, wow, our forefathers did this. Let's give them a little extra. Yeah, and then some of you are like what they told me about the CPS. Girl, you don't like it, but it gives us more. I mean, come on. I know one girl told me, she said, I threw mine. I need a vacation. I did. I need somebody to watch mine, so I went to the club. They'll hold them for about a week or two. She didn't care. She did not care that CPS had her kids. And she would go and see them, and that was a mother who was somewhat like a father. You know, these fathers will go by and visit their kids, and they don't see them anymore. They don't take the initiative to raise them or do anything else for them. And then we have these mothers that willingly put their children in the hands of CPS because they don't have family members that will keep them. And they'll go by CPS and see them. They have a visitation rights and don't care. And here we are in the system saying, okay, she can go and live with someone else, but some of them go get other babies. Like the one I met at this building. She was working. She said, well, I get my babies back, and this, you know, they took them. And she had, I guess she said it had something to do with her boyfriend. I don't know actually what all happened, but it had something to do with her boyfriend. So they put her in here, and she was moving out one day. She said after a year she got housing. And she said, well, I'm about to get, but she had a baby in her stomach and she had one on her hips. I said, well, these two are his. Now listen to me, because the two that she had, the one in her stomach and the one on her hip was the guy, but the other ones wasn't his. Come on, babies. You mean to tell me that you didn't take these other two, right? They didn't take those. I mean, I didn't understand that. I couldn't. Wait a minute, I'm missing something in this. because I could not see her still having, well, the other ones were older, and they were in CPS care. But why is it that you were able to keep these two? Because they were the one abused. I don't understand it. I mean, because an abuser is an abuser, right? And it kind of touched my heart, but I didn't want to say anything at the time. And hopefully she's not listening to me because I'm thinking, oh, wow, Renee, you spoke too fast, and it's too good to just delete. But I couldn't understand how she still had his two, and the other ones were still off in CPS custody. Yeah, because some men don't want other people's children around. Yeah, I had a boyfriend once, and I tell you this, I've never told this horror story, and hopefully he's not out there, because he loved the heck out of Nikki. In fact, but Nikki was my wildlife. This is when I first came out of my first marriage. I was going through, had my little off and on flings and whatnot. And then I told you I played games. I wasn't saved at the time, and I played little games, right? But Tifa, and he was went into the home, and I stayed with him. Well, he came and stayed with me in my home, and he brought so much into the house, but he couldn't stand Tifa. Nikki was somewhere around when we were in school. Nikki was somewhere around. No, this is out of school. The time when I was messing with him. Okay, so I had 3 of those with my daughter Nikki. That was there. Nikki's a very good kid. I was separated from my marriage from Ben, and Ben was cheating. I wasn't, but we were going through a divorce, and at the time, I was with Tony, and there was a little confrontation, but then Edward was somewhere in the picture, and I ain't saying last name because I probably gave a little too much information, because Tony wasn't stable. Tony was still like a Ben. They had women. He was military. Actually, both of them was military, and Edward was just one of those rebounds that you go to when your man ain't there, right? You have your man because they have their women, or at least you think you have your women. Anywho, what was I going to say? Oh, so then one time Edward came into the house to live, and he's going to take the kids to the park. And Tifa comes back. She has seaweeds all in her hair. Very young at the time. Before I got married, very little babies. And when he left, the kids would talk. He said, Mama, he stood there and watched me, and I was trying to get out the water. He said, I don't know why he would push me. He threw her in the water. Nikki was an itty bitty baby. Itty bitty baby, and Tifa wasn't. But she was aware that he pushed her in the water. And when she was trying to get out, being that she was a little toddler, she was a toddler. And she knew that she was trying to get out that water, and he stood there and watched her. And then an innocent person came by, and he poured her out the water. And that could have been her life. That was Tifa. Why? Because he always felt a bonding to Nikki, because he's been there since she was a little baby, little bitty baby. And he felt like Nikki was his. Because she was still going through the developing stage, and I was pregnant with her in the womb and everything. And he was there. That was his in his eyes. I hope he's not listening. I could have sworn I saw a name coming down the wall that was like his. I said, oh, Lord, forgive me, because I don't want to say anything that's wrong. Lord, I just said it. I don't know why names even came out this time. But, yeah. And so she was a baby, and she was very talkative. And so he left out that day. I couldn't trust my kids with nobody else. I said they had been through so much, and then he couldn't keep. And apparently he had abused them, too. And I was like, wow, can you trust? And that's a whole new topic right there, and I want to jump to that topic. But, you do have men out there that they don't want the other kids. And so I'm not understanding. I couldn't. And if she was right in this building, how come that CPS let her keep the 2 that was his and the other kids? And then we look at that when we talk about mamas, because that's to me abandonment, because I don't think CPS should be able to house your children. I don't. I think you put the entire family in the house or don't touch them at all. And you know what someone told me? I have family members that work for CPS, right? But I know others that work for CPS. And you know what they told me? CPS don't have enough work. It's like a budget. And whenever there's not enough work, they have job cuts. They have layoffs. Exactly. So they have to find work. What the manager does, it increases the workload. It puts more rules. Now, this is what we're going to look for. They go into a meeting and get it legalized, that it's no longer for abusers. Come on, baby, because I'm speaking the truth. They're trying to keep kids just so they can keep their jobs going. It's no longer seeing scars because you don't see that openly, outwardly. That CPS job has always been a risky job because not too many kids are going to tell on their parents either. And you're not going to have it's not something that you will pay a lot of insurance for. It's not something I would put my money on. If you're talking about something that would be an independent contractor, I would hire CPS because you save money more with them. There's not too many people that's going to outwardly say I'm beating my children. And so because they don't have enough business, they go into meetings and they expand the horizon. They have to make it profitable. And so, okay, we're not going to just look for scars. We're going to look for emotional abuse. We're going to look for this. We're going to look for that. You know, we have to have money so we can take some, right? Not just jobs, but we have to have a way to where we can get kids. So government approval, okay, because we know what we're doing on the outside of all this. We're going to take those children that we get in. I want that child. Make up something on it. Because we know that these are trafficking, the child trafficking, the human trafficking we have going on the outside, and that's government. And so we're going to back CPS on whatever they want because it's nothing but a way to get children, especially our what we call minority children. Whoa. Yeah, we got prostitution going on in Mexico, and we know we have to raise them up to be as good as we want to. So we're going to approve what CPS, yeah, because we don't need CPS. We don't need them because it's a criminal assault for you to beat your children where there's bruises. Why can't the police officers handle that? Why is it that we need some people to hold our children for accusations? And then we keep them in the system lost just like the jail cell, and now we have innocent children that you're supposed to care so much about in jail, suffering emotionally. Do you not know that child, that woman could have gotten away with giving up her children? Not putting them up for adoption, but giving them up because she had a man in her life. And who was suffering the most? The children. I would have made her keep her own children. I would have said, taught her a lesson. You want a man, make him accept your children. And I'm not saying that was her case because I don't want anyone to listen to me. But I felt in my spirit, why is it that she still has the two that are by him? And the other, I think it was 3, upon the CPS care. And then you take the children and pressure them, oh my God, because understand me, because I know what I said earlier, to find them a whoopee, find them someone that they're familiar with. But then you force them upon a old person, a grandparent, or somebody who really don't have time for them but would take them in because they don't want a stranger to have them. It's hard for a mother to teach her child how to be, what do you call it? I'm going to say independent, but that's not the word, responsible. When you have a CPS there, I don't want to handle her children because I know she's out there being wild. I know she's just trying to give up her kids. I want to teach her how to raise her own children. And here comes CPS forcing me to watch them. Well, you don't have to. Yeah, I'm going to love them and do so. It's not that I don't love my grandkids. I want them, the parents, to be responsible. Then we got a CPS out there. What do we need CPS? I mean, if you can take a grenade, blow it up. Because it is a hindrance to our society. We don't understand how stupid government is nothing but a wicked entity to me because it profits them to have a CPS, but we weaken society with these, whatever you call it, groups that are out there. We weaken society. We don't have anything to truly combat the government. You know, CPS advocate, child advocate. You're not fighting for that child. The government controls every advocate that's out there. How could it be a true advocate when the government is controlling it? You've got to go through Uncle Sam for everything. That's not an advocate. An advocate stands on his own. You get your own funding. You fight the government regardless. And then we have to have some rules in the government that's going to back what we're doing. That means they can't touch us. They cannot throw our family members in jail. Policemen cannot violate because we're fighting against what's wrong. Police officers are for the government. They stand back and see crime. When you see the CIA up there right now, you know Obama's wrong and CIA is not touching him, then we believe if the FBI is not fighting against them, then the police officers all on the street should be able to come back that government. Oh, my God. We should have regular police officers that can come in, the sheriff department, SWAT, not come in and do their own junk. We should have something to back us. The people need some support. We need some backing. Because what is society without the people? I'm trying to get you to see that the government, the entity itself, should not be able to violate us. And that's what y'all have put in control. Men who step in position